Good afternoon and welcome to Northport, a view from here. My name is Gene Matthews and I'll be your host today. Visiting with us we have Dr. Reichardt and Ron York from the Heron Creek Development, which is located on Sumter Boulevard in Price. And I want to welcome you all here today and thank you for being our guest. We're going to start off with you, Doctor. What prompted you to come to Northport and put in the development Heron Creek?
In 1994, I was looking for some investment and development opportunity, and all of a sudden I found this piece of land, and as I flew over this area I really lost my heart in this piece of land, and I found out that we could be able to create some unique golf course community and some kind of village within a city, and where the environmental aspects are not a conflict for human being living in a development. And from that time on, I think we started to plan a master plan community with a golf course and all the nature and amenities we would like to offer.
How large is the development? How many homes will be built, and maybe what type of homes will you be building?
Yes, the total acreage is 830, and after deducting the municipal complex, we would have around 810, and two-thirds of this would be residential. It's planned as 27 golf course.
27 whole golf
course with approximately 1,300 homes, and we expect maybe 800 single-family homes and 500 multi-family condominium homes. And right now we are offering paired villas and normal single-family home, and then a detached product, which is in the middle of both.
And isn't there a restaurant or something going in over there?
Yeah, the restaurant is supposed to open in 2 or 3 weeks, and we should be ready at this time.
So you're going to be ready for the winter season, the winter guests?
We are ready. We prepared everything to be ready right at the season. So
you have all 18 holes of golf open. You'll have the restaurant. Right? Yes, I've played on them, and they're very beautiful homes, and and I recommend them to anyone. Mr. York, Ron, when did you first turn dirt over there? What was the first project that you started over at Heron Creek, and how has it been progressing since then?
The timing is kind of an interesting point, because as Dr. Reichardt mentioned, in '94 we started planning the project, and in 1995 we started acquiring parts of the property, and we finished that process in May of '96. And during that entire period we had planned the beginning of the golf course basically toward the end of '96. If you recall, one of the factors that influenced us during the winter of '97 was El Nino. And so when we started planning for the construction, we had no idea what ramifications that would have on us, but we started the project construction. Actually, we had a groundbreaking in October of 1997, and that process was expected to be finished 1 year later. It actually cost us about 6 months of delays in construction.
The El Nino did, the storms?
It was the wettest winter any of us could possibly remember, yes. And so all the rain and delays in getting contractors out there when you're moving dirt and moving trees and doing the clearing work, You do it in the wintertime because that's the driest period. Well, it just so happened we had summer conditions.
Yeah, in the wintertime, yeah.
We've progressed very well at this point. We've had some additional delays here and there, but we opened the front 9 in March of this year, March of '99, and we opened the back 9, so we have a full 18 in July of '99. So we've got 18 holes open. We've heard a lot of very positive comments in the community about the golf course, and it has taken us a little more time to develop and build it, but we felt that it was worth the quality of the final product to take time and effort to make sure it was done right.
Yeah, it's a very nice golf course. As I said, I've played it before, and
Thank you.
you were projected for 27. When is the other 9 going to go in, or is that sometime in the future?
We have right now set a guideline, and I would say a guideline in terms of, as I just experienced in that discussion with El Nino, we never know if we can adhere to every schedule, but the guideline that we're preparing right now is to begin construction in the summer to early fall of next year for the third 9, and completion of which would be in the summer of the year 2001. So we would hope, all things being considered, that in fall of 2001 the full 27-hole golf course facility will be in place, playable, and everybody will get a chance to see the entire aspect of our golf course plan.
That's great. And Dr. Reichardt, how much time do you spend here? I know you have your son Alex here on vacation from Germany from school, and so you must be spending a lot of time on airplanes. How do you run a project like this from so far away?
I'm staying 160 days around, more or less, in the States, and it's a tough time to do business in Germany and then here. But I have, I think I have a very good crew which is assisting me, and it's taking care of everything. So I think we have a good connection, and we have large phone bills, I can tell you.
Yes.
And the fax machine is running hot every day. So, but this is, it's a challenge.
It must be exciting.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And I sleep the most time in the year in the plane, I can tell you.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay.
but so far I'm healthy, and I have no problem.
Do you do the same work in Germany?
Yeah, really.
It's development and
Yes.
such like that. Okay, good. One other thing, we were talking about your development also has a commercial aspect to it, and I heard we're going to have a golf school and a golf hotel here, and could you talk to us about that? Or
Yeah, we have golf learning facility and around 26 acres. And we are now starting to advertise, and our general manager for the golf is engaged in finding opportunities. The problem right now is that we need a place where students can stay. So that is the reason why we are looking for some kind of motel on our commercial side to let these people live on the golf course, and to give them a feeling that they can stay and learn. So
it sounds very exciting to me. We have to take a break now, and we'll come right back with Chairman Joe Fink of the City Commission, as well as the interim city manager, Stan Frank. Thank you very much.
Have you seen Northport lately? Take a minute and take a look.
We really do enjoy nature, and we found it all here, right in our own backyard. Love fishing and boating on the Mayaca. You never know what you might see out there. We toured the whole state of Florida, and found that Northport had everything that we wanted.
There's a lot of natural beauty, and there's a lot of wildlife here. I love the open spaces, and I love the quiet.
If you're intrigued by what you just saw, pay us a visit, and you'll see a lot more.
Welcome back and to the second segment of Northport, A View from Here. As I said before, we're going to be talking with City Commissioner Joe Fink, the present chairman, as well as the interim acting city manager, Stan Frank. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
As you know, we're starting off a new year, and we're starting off a new century. And so, Mr. Fink, what are your hopes and aspirations for the city of Northport, the world, Sarasota County, yourself, your family?
Well, as the world goes, I hope the economy continues in the proper role that it's taken in the last several years. I'd like to see that happen because the city of Northport is going to continue to grow. As the chairman of the commission, I hope that I do an adequate job as chairman. I think I've done so far so well, and I hope that continues.
That's great. And Stan, what are your hopes and aspirations?
Well, Gene, from a very personal standpoint, I have to say that the most exciting thing that will happen, I think, in the new year and the new century for me will be the completion of our 7-mile-long linear park and preservation corridor along the Myakkahatchee Creek. We're within, I believe, 8 lots of fleshing that corridor out right now. And it's been a labor of some 11 years almost.
That's a long process for
it has
to finally see it
yeah.
come to fruition. It really must be rewarding.
And negotiating with dozens of property owners all at the same time and bringing, offers to fruition has been a real trial, but the end result is going to be something the city can be very proud of and pleased to have accomplished. It was the vision of the City Commission in 1988, I believe, to do this project. And the goal, of course, was to primarily to preserve the quality of the water in the creek as our very important secondary potable water resource. And I think we're very close to accomplishing that. It gives me a very good feeling. I had a key role in that, I'm proud to say.
Before I-75 was built, I used to walk along the creek back there, and it certainly was beautiful then. And if it held any of its beauty, it's a site that everybody should go and enjoy. Mr. Chairman, a few moments ago we had Dr. Reichardt and Ron York from Heron Creek here. Now, there's been other activity going on within the city, Bobcat Trail and the Village of Plantation, or whatever the name is. And how do you feel about all this activity going on within the city of Northport?
I think it's wonderful. I'm very glad we have developers like Heron Creek coming in and coming online, getting that golf course in, and now selling homes. Bobcat Trail is a wonderful addition to the city. All these things add so much to the character and the flavor of the city of Northport.
Are you going to encourage others to come in as you have these? And is this, let's say, a goal and aspiration of the current sitting commission?
I believe it is the philosophy of the City Commission that we are pro-growth at this time. I think we have to be. We're a city that's destined to grow. We're a city that's destined to fill out and become what we can. I will do everything in my power to encourage more developments such as Heron Creek and as Bobcat Trail and the KEB people to add more and more to the city of Northport and develop us to our full potential.
I think there's a value added in these kind of developments.
Development, I have found, has paid for itself in all instances of this city. I'm very pleased by what they've added to this city.
Okay. Stan, whenever you have activity of this magnitude, it's up to staff to maintain and continue the work, the approvals, the inspections, checking on plans, and making sure roads are in place. And how are you keeping up with this particular activity at this point?
Well, it doesn't fall so much on me, of course, as on the directors of the individual departments who've been doing a great job. They've been very supportive of me personally, and I must thank them publicly for all their support. They have done, as I say, a tremendous job. The burden is a big one. And one thing we've been stressing for the past year and a half is customer service. We have to regard everyone who comes into, for example, the building department as a customer of the city and treat them as such. Landowners in general need to be treated with respect. And even though the workload is a little heavier than it's been in past years, we've been able to handle it quite well. And I think we've improved in the area of customer service. And little by little we're adding now and then on an occasional basis new building inspectors, new positions that will help us bear the load a bit more easily.
Yeah, several years ago there was a book that came out called Reinventing Government. And one of the premises in there, one of the primary premises in there was that, that your citizens and the people coming into the governmental offices are customers, as you would be a customer in a store, and that you're there to serve those customers as best you can. And I think that's a great philosophy, and government hasn't always been seen in that light, and I think it's about time that we are, as a government, seen as being very sensitive to customers. Northport's finally attaining a prominent role in Sarasota County, Commissioner. How do you see our future role? What do you see as our future role in our prominence or in the county in the future, and in the Charlotte County area too?
If we continue the good planned development that we have, and we have practiced in the past several years in the city of Northport, our future is very bright. I see us becoming a city of 50 or 60,000 people. I see us becoming the city of Sarasota County, and actually the city of northern Charlotte County. We have a lot in common with Charlotte County, and a lot of our people have the same issues as Charlotte County people.
Okay, and will we be able to keep up as a city with all this growth and maintain a high quality of lifestyle for our residents and taxpayers?
It's hard to do that, but again, if it's planned growth, if you keep a handle on it, we've seen growth that isn't planned, and it's hard to play catch-up once that's done. But the city of Northport has planned for all the growth that we've experienced in these last few years, and we will continue doing that. We have good staff. We have excellent staff in the city of Northport. And also, where we find a glitch in an ordinance or a code, we take care of that, make sure that those glitches are fixed so that we can experience good planning, good growth.
Yeah, I think that's an important point that you make, because so much of our charter is from years and years ago, and our administrative code and other ordinances really need to be looked at on a continual basis, and I think that's a good direction to take. We're going to take go ahead.
We're only 10% developed, and we have the lessons of the region and the East Coast to draw upon. So I think, as the Commissioner said, we can use those lessons to plan properly and develop in a good way.
I agree with you, and we'll be back in a moment. Thank you.
There's a rumor that small-town America has all but disappeared.
Life is great, Northport.
Northport is the last Mohican. This is the place. This is going to be the last undeveloped region. The city government itself is so pro-growth, and it's just like everything is in the right place at the right time for Northport. They're very open-minded, they're very honest, and they're very fair.
Disappeared? You've just seen evidence to the contrary. We call it Northport.
Welcome back to Northport, a view from here. Mr. Frank, Northport is fast becoming a bedroom community for Sarasota, the city of Sarasota, and North County and Sarasota, and Charlotte County also. how do we keep pace with the city manpower needs to provide the services for these new residents as they come on board?
Well, it's not as arbitrary as perhaps it would seem to the average person. We have what we call levels of service, which is a planning term for establishing a benchmark. For example, in the area of police protection, law enforcement, our level of service currently is 2 officers per 1,000. And we've established similar levels of service throughout the Northport Comprehensive Plan that are a starting point, at least, for establishing new positions as they're warranted by population growth. So it really is almost, I guess you'd say, a mathematical determination.
It's a plug-in number. You have X number of citizens, you need X number of sanitation workers, X number of trucks, and things of that nature. Recently, we passed the 1-cent sales tax, which brings in a tremendous amount of money into the city over a 10-year period. I don't remember exactly what that amount is. And we also have a revised impact fee schedule that we're working on. And plus, there are other funding sources that we might talk about, such as DRI extractions from developers that have significant developments, such as Heron Creek and Bobcat and others. What are you going to do with all this money? What can the people of Northport expect to see as a result of this?
Well, I think they can expect and demand to see adequate infrastructure. And that's where all those resources go to, is building the extra lane miles to accommodate traffic, providing the extra fire rescue protection that we all need. We're now looking at, in our Impact Fee Study Committee, as you know, Gene, being a member, looking at other resources we could bring to bear to add to the kitty, so to speak. And I think as commercial development continues, certainly residential development continues, and those ad valorem taxes come online, that's of course the number one thing we rely upon. But there are other areas too, such as utility taxes and some other creative financing methods we really haven't accessed. Perhaps increasing the electric service tax, that's a possibility to look at too. But we need those funds in a fast-growing city to simply keep up with the pace of growth. Mm-hmm. And luckily, I think we are starting out with a low level of taxation, relatively speaking, and I think we can continue that. I think the number one thing people can hope for is a continuation, as the Commissioner said, of the good economy, the growing economy. And along with that, we will be able to further diversify our local economy, bringing in further commercial and industrial development. And that's been one of the really exciting things to me, is the level of industrial development we have, for example, at the Northport Park of Commerce. It's a very exciting thing that's happening out there. Anyone who's driven on Toledo Blade Boulevard has to be amazed at the changes. But the bottom line for the average homeowner is that for every square foot of new commercial industrial development we have, that means a further decrease in the burden on him as a homeowner.
So what you're saying is that commercial activity is good for the city
Yes.
from a tax basis, and helps, I'll use the word subsidize, the tax level of homeowners within the city.
Yes, and it goes back to your initial question. You described Northport as a bedroom community. Well, that's certainly well and good, and we, our number one industry all these years has, of course, been residential construction. But now, at long last, we're seeing a bit of balance being established in the local economy, and it's a very welcome thing, I think, for all of us. We should be very happy that's happening.
Is this time to say, and you ain't seen nothing yet?
I think that's a fair statement. You ain't seen nothing yet. So there's a lot coming around the corner, and it'll be very exciting.
I think it's an exciting time for Northport.
It is. It is.
And with that, Mr. Chairman, you've been here for 30 years. That's a long time in anyone's life, as young and tender as you are.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I think it would be in order for this new year for you to give us a personal rundown on what you've seen over the 30 years, what you hope to see over the next 30 years. And where are you going to retire?
When my father bought the house that I have in the city of Northport from your father 31 years ago, Gene, there were 600 people in town. Kids were going to Venice High School. I attended Venice High School, graduated class of 1971. We've seen so much change. We're now a city of 20 to 25,000, depending on who you believe. And there's so much going on. Our potential is limitless. We have the largest expanse of any city incorporated on I-75. That's tremendous. And we have the best people in the world living there, without a doubt. I don't foresee going anywhere. I foresee retiring in the city of Northport. I have no other place to go. This is home for me.
Great, great. And Stan, you've had a wide and varied career inside the city of Northport and outside, and most of it within Sarasota County. Give us an insider and outsider viewpoint, and tell us how long you've been here in the area, so people can get a perspective of some of the historical content of what you're going to be speaking of.
We, my wife and I, moved here in 1980 from Wisconsin. We're natives of southern Wisconsin, where my wife actually.
Are you a Green Bay fan?
I used to be.
Until yesterday, until Sunday.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely switched to the Bucks. But yeah, we moved here in 1980 directly to Northport, and I had a job with the local newspaper here for a year. So that was my first introduction to the city of Northport and Northport politics.
Was it interesting back in those days? Yeah.
Well, it was not dull. It never has been dull. It continues to be so. In those days, of course, Mayor Marge Gentle was the presiding officer of the city, and the city commissioners individually ran each of the departments. So it was a totally different form of government. And now, of course, we have the city commission, city manager form of government, a totally different system, which I think is working quite well. I think as far as the biggest change I've seen, and I think you'll probably agree with me, is the moving on, so to speak, of General Development Corporation. For many, many years, we were, in effect, a company town. Viewers may not know it, but GDC was the largest developer in Florida for many, many years. And Northport is a brainchild of GDC. And when I came here, they were, I think, the largest landowner, if I'm not mistaken, Gene.
They were the landowner.
Exactly. And they were the largest developer of homes in Northport on I guess, a subdivision basis. Mm-hmm. Well, all that's changed. They now own virtually no land in Northport, either commercial or residential. And they build very few, if any, homes. Now we're getting, the most recent changes we've seen is a resurgence, I guess you'd say, in the area of subdivision development in the form of Heron Creek and Bobcat KEB and Charleston Park and some other developments. So there are new players in town, and the company town image of Northport is just about dead and buried.
I think you're both very much on target. I think we were held hostage by general development in a way which, you know, they had a perfect right. It was their land and everything else. But I think now we're free of those shackles, and now we're going to see ourselves grow. And for myself, I want to thank you for visiting with us on a weekly and a monthly basis. And I also wish to be one of the first to wish you the best in the new millennium. Thank you very much. This is Gene Matthews from Northport, a view from here.
When you mentor a child, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be yourself. Do good. Mentor a child. Call 1-877-BE-A-MENTOR.
Share your decision to become an organ and tissue donor with your family today. For a free brochure on organ and tissue donation, call 1-800-355-SHARE.